Hi there, it's Stacy Tucker. Welcome back and welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to touch on the topic of third dimensional pain in our fifth dimensional reality, right? We're moving out of 3D into 5D that we all talk about so often, but how do we practice the tools that we're learning in our new 5D world while we're still living in our world of duality, the 3D world? And how do we help our loved ones, and what do we say to them, and people that we know and love who are still really stuck in the third dimensional timeline? And there's so many people suffering right now with deaths in the family, a lot of divorce, a lot of relationships are ending, people with poor health and financial distress, not to mention just, the general malaise that is just saturated our world right now. It's like an epidemic of sadness and negativity. And, what do we say to our loved ones who are in their all is lost moment? I took screenplay, and the all is lost moment is written in the screenplay. I think it's on page 90. It's in the 90s. It's like on the same page all the time. The all is lost moment that comes into our lives. Then and we're all living the Joseph Campbell formula of the hero's journey, and that entails a lot of moments of distress and pain. And in our new 5D world, we have a choice, right? We are given the tool of awareness as to what pain really represents in our lives. And we're given the choice of how do we want to handle it? What do we want to say to our loved ones? No one wants advice, but support is wonderful. Support of listening, or helping with childcare, or helping with a girls' night out, or whatever it may be. Support of actions speaking much louder than words. We talk about encouragement and telling our loved ones and our friends and our families, keep going. Keep crying, keep screaming, keep getting out the pain that so many are going through. Keep getting that out. You're stronger than this moment, right? Right now, it's so hard to swallow, but we are experiencing the ramifications of our past choices. And for most of us, our past choices were made with very limited awareness, much more limited than where we're coming from right now, right? And just think of how far you've come in the last year, not to mention the last 5 years of your life, of the awareness that you now have as far as why you're here on the planet at this time, and why you're going through the specific experiences that you're going through right now, right? For so many of us who are trying to embrace a fifth dimensional reality, I would hope, we come into these all is lost moments with just more awareness, so we're able to acknowledge the fluidity of life and not get stuck in the negativity and the loops that we keep telling ourselves about what has been happening to us, instead of flipping that to the creation energy of creating our experience that we want, in this lifetime. But the choices that we made years back, we did it without being, fully awake and aware as we are right now. And 2019 has all been about getting rid of, cleaning out, cleaning out in our environment, cleaning out in our emotional bodies. We're making room for who we are to become in 2020 and beyond, right? It's not just 1 year. I mean, that's the start of a new decade, and it's the start of a brand new life. And as a collective and as individuals, we have suppressed pain our whole lives, and there's nowhere else for it to go. And so it's got to come out, right? It's got to come out. And the universe is like squeezing us right now, and it's only going to get worse. The squeeze is only going to get worse, but it's also, I say worse loosely, because it's really just an opportunity to step back and think, okay, what do I want to change? What do I want to let go of? What do I want to end? And the heartbreak in 3D is like our new normal, right? It's like our new normal. It's been years now that we've been talking about this, since 2016. We've been talking about the spiraling of energy and the increased stressful energy that's just been permeating our planet. And so this really is our new normal for the foreseeable future, right? If we look at it from a 3D perspective. But from a 5D perspective, it's actually an invitation to see ourselves differently and ask the question, how can we take responsibility for this moment, for this experience, for my life, for our life, set new boundaries, right? Because the boundaries of the old you are gone. And so it's like setting new boundaries and chart a course for where you want to go moving forward, right? That goes back to my last video where I talked about being the architect of the new world, the architect of your new life. And it's all wrapped up in the meaning of life, right? The return to wholeness. Right now we're in this realm of duality, right? Until we wake up to its illusion and start the journey back. The journey back to wholeness. And 5D is the return trip, right? And along the way, we pick up lost pieces of ourselves, and we find them in other people, and we find them in experiences. And it's such a wonderful topic to talk about. Gregg Braden talks about this brilliantly in one of his videos about finding ourselves in others. And so I'm going to link that below because it is so profound and brilliant. He's so profound and brilliant about absolutely everything. But this one specific topic about acknowledging ourselves in another person and the attraction that we have to another person is really attraction to the lost pieces of ourselves. And it's so fascinating. But so I will link that. I will link that below because he explains it way better than I do, so that's awesome. But, I think about our world and it can be so unbelievably brutal and senseless. And, intellectually, I get the concept that we create our own reality. I get that all experience is a projection from within, right? Intellectually, I understand that, but emotionally, I don't understand the meaning of the things that happen, the meaning of, the cat that I couldn't help on the highway, that one day, or which still makes me cry if I think about it, or, the abuse of children, or I saw the other day, there's the ignorance that still fosters the killing of elephants for for ivory. Still in this day and age, that is still happening. Like, I can't even understand. So the duality of our own creating our reality versus the brutality of what still is happening on our planet is such a hard concept to grasp, right? But, if we've created the world that we see, then in 5D, we have the opportunity to make different choices and create a new world. Shift out of the negativity, the loops of victim mentality. Take internal authority and choose differently and choose a different life path. My microphone keeps popping off. So I feel like that is where it's at in the split right now between 3D and 5D. And it's feeling the squeeze from the universe and knowing that and having the awareness and the presence to choose. Because if we can choose with consciousness, then we have a better shot at creating something from a really hurtful experience, right? The realm of spirituality is the realm of pure potential. And it's also the realm of transformation, right? It's where we transform our heartbreaks from the pain of it into the possibility of a new life. And, what choice do we have other than to do that? Because there really is no downside to that, honestly. I think, and I struggle with this too, we get caught up in the habit of hurt. And then when we are hurt, we get stuck in or closed down, and when the opposite is needed, we need to live from an open heart despite being hurt, and it's a tough thing to do, being vulnerable when we've been hurt in the past. But shutting down the heart is believing you're a victim of your circumstance, right? And something happened to you. But 5D is the realm of believing that everything is happening for your highest good, absolutely everything, and refusing to shut down your heart, even though you're going through pain. So, it's obviously so much easier said than done, but it's also important to keep our storytelling in check, right? With victim mentality, we're attached to creating the same loops and getting stuck in the sadness. And I did that for years after my mom died. The sadness became a habit. And, I look back and I really did stay in that space for too long because I felt like I didn't deserve happiness, or I was doing her a disservice by being truly free, that I should have always carried the sadness somewhere in my energy. And we do that, by the way. We carry our traumas in our energy field, and that's a whole nother topic to discuss, energy and working with I think I might have mentioned that last video about, sound. I was working with the modality of sound balancing through tuning forks, and there are many modalities of energy work that can help release trauma from your field, from your energetic field, as well as from your body, because we do store we store our traumas. And for women especially, we store our traumas most in our like pelvic area, the second chakra, the sacral chakra. And one thing that I have just recently discovered, which has been so unbelievably transformative for releasing grief, is Breathwork by the David Elliott modality of Breathwork, which takes the trapped energy that is in the pelvic area and brings it up to your heart space for the pain to be transmuted through your heart. Because, at the end of all things, the power of your heart is the most important power you have. It transforms absolutely everything in your life. We're talking about the awareness of heartbreak and what pain is really there to show you. But it's also, your heart is also a physically transformative tool to transform and release the trapped energy that is within your body. It's so unbelievably fabulous. And I will share a link to that as well. I actually have done breath work with a gal in Fairfield County. Her name is Heather Waxman, and she is profound and amazing and runs classes on the breath work that I would highly recommend for someone who's experiencing grief or honestly just for health, for energetic health, because I think we all get just consumed with different energies that pervade our space, on a daily basis. And so really, I think once you move through any kind of real trauma, just to keep yourself healthy energetically, it's an amazing tool. So breath work is something I would highly recommend for someone who is hurting, going through some real pain right now. Something less extreme has been music lately. I may have mentioned along the way, I recently discovered the 70s station on Pandora, and oh my goodness, sometimes I just like to feel crappy and I resist turning on the tunes, but when I do, music is so unbelievably transformative and lightens the mood and just helps with our happiness. So I would really, really recommend you turn on some tunes if you're feeling blue, and cry too. That's my last recommendation of a tool right now. I've been crying a lot lately just because the weight of the world is so heavy. How can you not feel it, right? And as sensitives, we feel it even more. Even if we're not specifically going through something, specific to us, just being in the world right now is so, it's heavy, and there's no escaping it. And as sensitives, we are carrying the burden of much of the collective because we're strong enough to, so just think of that for a moment and really absorb that you are strong beyond measure, and you are handling the heartache of the collective, and for many who can't. Right? So just take a moment and acknowledge yourself for that just how extraordinary you are, that you are carrying so much. Just, take a few moments to, when you can, to think about what you want your life to look like in 6 months' time, right? 2020 is going to be a game changer of a year, ripe with opportunity for change, and we're doing the work now to get ready for that. It's important to savor the moments of beauty, of laughter, of having fun, joy when you can find it, because it's, like I said earlier, it's easy to get stuck in the loop of to-do lists and negativity from, media and things that just are bombarding us, when we're being called to be aware of the grace in in all moments of life, even in the painful moments of life. That's truly 5D living, right? Those we love in 3D, they need our support. They need non-judgment. Just because we're aware of 5D and how to use these tools, we still experience pain and we still grieve, but we do it with a greater understanding of the fluidity of life. And hopefully this awareness helps you move through your traumas much faster than you would have just last year. I think, again, tools, right? Tools to leave you with for helping another who's struggling, helping yourself who's struggling, really just acknowledging the pain, crying it out. Crying is the best. It really, truly is. It's transmuting. It's transmuting your pain, and it's releasing. It's so therapeutic. Or screaming too. Screaming. Rage. How many of us have rage, anger a lot? And screaming can really be helpful there. The conscious breath, taking big, deep inhales. I think I may have mentioned this on another video, doing the 5-5-5-5 breath, where you inhale for 5 counts, hold for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts, and then keep it exhaled for 5 counts, and then repeat. It's a wonderful calming tool. Your breath is your friend. I'll leave it at that. And I will put the link to Breathwork below. Heather's website, as well as David Elliott, link to them below. And energy work I've talked about as well is also very helpful. But prayer, I was raised Catholic, and I stopped going to church quite a few years ago, and I don't know anybody who still goes to church and prays, right? And so prayer is so vitally important as the connection to your higher self, to your spirit, to God, to the divine within and in our world. And for me, my number one thing, if someone asks me, what is my number one thing that I find helpful just for well-being, it's my connection to my higher self. It's my connection to my internal compass, my guidance that is fluid from my heart to God. And it really is my connection to my higher self. And I do that, I think I mentioned too before, I'm a prayer chair. And so if you have a place in your home where you can call your own for prayer and meditation and to develop your dialogue with spirit, it is so unbelievably rewarding and supportive, and it is your best relationship that you're ever going to have, your relationship with yourself. So let me know if you do have a regular spiritual practice, if you don't mind sharing what it is. Like I said, I have my prayer chair, I meditate, I pull oracle cards, I use a lot of Amanda Ellis sprays that are amazing, connecting to all sorts, elementals, archangels, Christ, the Marys. There's so many avenues for spirit. They are truly limitless, and I look forward to exploring them all with you. I'll be doing some more videos on those different modalities, and it's all great fun, and it's there are just more tools to connect, tools for connection, which is what we're all looking for, right? So I hope this video helped you in some small way. Please let me know if it did or didn't, or how I can improve and what you might be interested in learning about. So I wish you a wonderful week filled with brilliant ideas and creative flow. Much love to you all. Bye-bye.